So if you're out there and you're feeling left behind in this New Year's rush and you didn't quite make it to set a resolution, you're not too late. In fact, a lot of the people that set resolutions are on it and they fall off on January 12th. So 60% of people set resolutions, only 8% keep them. So I want you to really just not think of this day as setting a resolution. We're working on big dreams and goals give you direction. I really had a setback the last year, at least maybe a little over, and I didn't really plan as many goals as I usually do because I was so busy healing. But I tell you what, it made me realize why I always have a vision board, a dream board, and I'm going to show you a couple of those. We've got this dream board right here, and quite a few dreams on it. And then we have, I keep every single vision board, and I'll tell you why in a minute, because this is gonna be a little bit structured today on helping you to achieve your big goals and dreams. And here's another one. You gotta be really specific when you start writing down what it is you want to achieve, because God and the universe is listening. So if you want to be on the Steve Harvey show, like I did, you need to say specifically what you want, because I was on the Steve Harvey show and they put my husband and I on episode after episode for different things. And one I was crying, one I was laughing. And so it's just kind of funny. I should have said, I want to be on the Steve Harvey show as a guest. But what I said was, I want to be on the Steve Harvey show. So the universe did answer that goal. And equally, I said I wanted to be in the top 5 at Fitness Universe on both those boards. And I did. I made it in the top 5. I got 2nd, I got 3rd, I got 4th, several times. I made it into the top. The thing is, I should have said I want to be number 1. And why do you think I didn't say I want to be number 1? It's too big of a goal, right? Too big of a dream. Who am I to do that? Who am I to say I want to be number 1? So this year, when we were setting our goals, dreams, and visions, it was really fun. My youngest son was home, and instead of doing a board this year, we just pulled out our notebooks. And so it didn't seem as formidable, because sometimes I really glitter up my boards and it looks more like an art project. So this year we sat down and we did a brag book. So we sat down and we bragged about what we have already accomplished, what we accomplished this year. And we looked at our vision boards from the prior years. What did we accomplish off the boards? You're 50% more likely to accomplish your dreams and goals by writing them down. And this is, like a scientific study out there. So you can Google it, look it up. But just know that when you write down the things that you want in life, you're more likely to achieve them. 50%, it's a lot. So we were looking at all the things that we achieved, and also the things that maybe we wrote down we didn't want to achieve anymore, or possibly, like for me, on my one board where I wanted to be a guest on Steve Harvey, I still do, I had written I wanted to write a book called Full Blazes Ahead. Well, I did write a book, and it actually got in the Academy of Book Awards right along with Food Sanity, so I felt pretty good about that. And it goes with my online course, the Sweat Project. So, you have to really be specific. Sometimes you'll find that your dream may change direction a little bit, which is fine. Now, what we did is we each saw that we had achieved a lot of goals. And what that does is it gives you courage to set them again, because you know you're more than likely to achieve them. It also gives you direction for your year. And it was really cool because we did several exercises this year and that I want to kind of tell you guys about and share with you, because I feel like there was a really good method to our madness. We set the goals basically after we bragged about, and you can call it bragging, but I just call it celebrating. It really was celebrating what you've achieved. And then what we did next was we wrote a list. So I don't know if you've ever heard of Warren Buffett's 525 rule, but you can look that up. You can Google it. Go to Dr. Google. And my mom thinks Dr. Google is a doctor. So we gotta talk this year. I'm gonna bring her into 2020. We bought her a Kindle, and I'm gonna show her how to find some things on it, on her, also her tablet that she got. So what we did next, we did what I did with Dr. Isaiah Henkel in New York City at his mastermind. We did the perfect day scenario. So I don't know if you've ever done it, but it is really eye-opening and life-changing, because what I discovered was I wasn't dreaming big enough. So if you've heard my podcast, it's like one of my first ones where I talk about writing out on a clock, the circle of a clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, just all the way around the clock, what you want to be doing on your perfect day. Now, what I found was the first time I did it, I wrote what I was kind of already doing, because I really love what I'm doing. So I wrote that, what I was already kind of doing. And then he had us do it again. We did it with a partner. And the third time, he had us do it 3 times, because you're really not dreaming big enough until the third time. It shows us how we really do limit our dreams. A lot of the time, just like because of what I said earlier, it's because you are like, who am I to do this? This big dream. It's kind of overwhelming when you think about it, reaching it. And that's how you know it's a good dream. And so by the third time I wrote this out, he called me up front. I was so freaking embarrassed, because on it I wanted a skinny dip at midnight. And so, I just was like, oh my gosh, I have to read this in front of everybody. And the very first thing I said was, that was my alter ego speaking. I didn't want him to really think that all those dreams, goals, and visions were mine. And, it was because I was kind of embarrassed, because it was that, who am I to do this thing, right? First thing he said, he called me out. He said, can you guys see her doing the things on this list? I can see her doing the things on this list. And then he said to me, which was life-changing, you deserve to do the things on this list. Wow, right? Because there was a lot of things. And another one that was kind of embarrassing, I wanted to eat breakfast with celebrities. I was really dreaming big, and I don't know why that came out, but I still want to eat breakfast with celebrities. And I wanted to run the beach. And a lot of the dreams are the same, as you'll see when I read some of them off from this year. I wanted to run on the beach at my beach house and have a photo shoot in the morning, do podcasting in the afternoon. And you know what? I wasn't even podcasting then. And I am podcasting now. And a lot of the dreams, after realizing I wasn't dreaming big enough, came true. Crazy, right? One was I wanted to swim with the dolphins. So within a month's time, I actually achieved 4 of the goals on that list. And so when I went swimming on my birthday with the dolphins, It was a life-changing moment. My husband was with me. It made me realize that we could recognize our dreams together as a team. And I cried because the moment was so surreal. The dolphins were just like the sweetest animals ever. Although this little girl, she's fallen asleep. She's just 8 weeks old. I've got a puppy for those of you that are listening and don't have video, but she is a golden doodle mini and she is freaking adorable. She wanted me to hold her and I need to podcast, so we're multitasking right now. She's snuggling. But back to what I was saying about the just the big dreams, you never dream big enough. And once I started realizing I could actually do those things, it actually kind of scared me. So sometimes I just think, like Maya Angelou says, we're more scared of like how powerful we are. And, step into that more, because really there's only fear is just, that's the only thing to fear is fear itself. And I don't remember who said that. You guys can all tell me later. Well, I just want to talk a little bit about the clock. So I want everybody to do their perfect day scenario. I want you to write what you in your heart of hearts, not what somebody wants you to do, not what your husband thinks you should do, not what your mom thinks you should do, or your boss or your children. What do you want in your heart of hearts? It's put in your heart for a reason. So just want you to dig down deep and uncover, what is it, no matter how ridiculous it sounds, that you want to do in your heart of hearts. And I don't care if that means, baking pastry, sailing the Mediterranean, swimming with dolphins, whatever it is, catching the tail of a tiger. I want you to really dream big, you guys, and really think about what it is you want. Fill out that perfect day scenario and just realize you need to do it more than once, because you aren't going to be dreaming big enough on the first 2 tries. So that's the first exercise. Fill that out. The perfect day, if you guys send the perfect day to me, filled out. Okay, it's got to be filled out. The top 10 will win a prize. Okay, not saying what that prize is yet, but it's definitely worth filling out your perfect day scenario. All right. Now, the next thing, because we did all of that, we knew what our big dreams were. We did the 5-25 rule, which was Warren Buffett, where you write down like 25 things on a list. And I did this at Mommy Millionaire too, where we wrote 100 things. Oh my gosh, we didn't have that long to write. It's hard to come up with 100 things. You wouldn't think it would be, but it really is. And why you come up with so many things, then you write that 25, is you're going to narrow that down to the top 5 dreams that are really important to you, that you can't live without, that you don't want to die someday knowing you didn't achieve them. Something that moves a needle that you're passionate about, that makes you want to get out of bed in the morning. Children, they just spring out of bed. They can't wait to run, play, jump, because they're excited about life. We've limited ourselves. Let's unlimit ourselves. What would it feel like to feel that way again every day, to be excited about the dreams? Now, to be able to do that, sometimes you got to get rid of the other stuff in your life that's holding you back from your dreams. So that's another part of that, but that's not this podcast. We're only going to talk about what we want to achieve. So you're going to do that, and then I want you to really pick what your 5 biggest dreams are. And I'm going to put my glasses on so I can kind of see. So mine were, I think I put like 8. Work on speaking and booking paid gigs. build my dream gym up with add members and workers. Those were my top 2. Work on topics, find guests, add a Friday show, solo. Number 4, take over the other side. There's another side to my gym. There was a church in it, and we just met today to talk about taking it over. So that would be a goal. Number 5, big September trip. We went to Ireland this year, and we're talking about Germany, talking about going to France. Switzerland was in there. We have all kinds. I want to go to Iceland. We have all kinds of places we want to travel and visit. And that's also eye-opening. You know, taking a big trip really opens your eyes to the world out there and what dreams you might be able to achieve when you get outside of your comfort zone, your box, the place you live, that you cohabit, that you're always at day in, day out. Live a little, you guys, even if it's to do a staycation. So number 6 was visit kids. Visit kids. My daughter lives in Manhattan. She's a photographer there. She's pretty amazing. And my youngest son lives in LA, and he is a very talented videographer. And my oldest son is a brilliant musician, and he's just brilliant. He's got his business, he's majored in it, and he works at the bank. And he lives in Charlotte, North Carolina with his wife. So, you know, I want to visit my kids and hopefully not just puppies, grandbabies at some point here. So I should have put that on the list, but I can't. That's not something I can control. All right, number 7, get major sponsors. I've been working on that, and I may have a very exciting announcement soon. And number 8, have my podcast remain being in the top. Now, I know I had some other stuff, but I don't see it. Oh, okay. The big dreams. So that was actually my goals list for this year. Sorry, here's the big dreams. Number 1, beach house and New York residence. Then I can visit some of the kids all the time. Become a New York Times best-selling author. Franchise SOS and sell it. Become the greatest motivational speaker. Host of the top #1 health podcast show. Now, those were big dreams, and I spoke them out big because we don't usually dream big enough. But the very first thing that comes up when we write, like, I don't know, like when I was writing down, what was it? Become the top motivational speaker. You start thinking, well, I need to speak if I'm going to be the top motivational speaker. And you think of all the motivational speakers out there that you admire that are amazing. And you're like, oh, how could I ever be like that? Like Les Brown, Tim Story, who I was just reading his book earlier, Come Back and Beyond. Love that book. If you're looking for a comeback and you've had a setback, it's a great book to get you motivated and just connected to your spirit and soul. People like that, very motivational, inspire me. Lewis Howes inspires me. There's so many motivational speakers out there. Eric Thomas, Mel Robbins motivates and inspires me. I like her so much because her style of just talking to you and listening and giving advice is just so genuine. It's just so real. And you know what? Angie Lee recently said you got to take messy action. And sometimes it's messy when you're trying to reach a goal or do something new that you've never tried before. You might feel like a duck out of water sometimes, but don't give up on it. Just know that anytime you're starting something new and you're taking action, it can be messy, you know, but the biggest thing that I truly have to say I've learned through having a setback this year, and I was just kind of looking back at a lot of the goals I've reached, was the time is going to pass anyway. It's going to pass anyway. You're making a choice. See, sometimes people think they didn't really make a choice, but if you don't go after your dreams and goals, you're making a choice not to go after them. If you just sit, you're making a choice either way. Either way, if you do or you don't, you're making a choice. So you're already making a decision by being stuck. You're stuck. If you don't do anything, you get stuck in action. Action is what moves the needle. Action is what gives you motivation. Because when you start seeing results, it motivates you to take another step and another step and another step. And pretty soon you don't realize, wow, I didn't realize I could do this. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. And that is the biggest thing of all. I just think back to a small one of climbing the rope at the Spartan and missing it the first 2 times. And when I went for the third Spartan, I was just like, oh man, I don't know. I was not going to try it again. I was already kind of knuckling under, thinking I'll do the 30 burpees. But then I was watching the guys. They were jumping. They were trying to climb it. They were falling off like flies. And I just thought in my heart, I'm going to give it one more try. And I thought, oh, the secret, I'm just going to really jump up high on that rope. And I did, and I made it, and I climbed all the way to the top, and I was swinging up there, hanging on for dear life, and there was a cowbell about a foot above, and I was like, oh my gosh, there's no water under me this time. And so I held on, hit that cowbell, but I wasn't prepared for the descent. I got a little rope burn on the down. But I would just say that I smiled ear to ear the rest of that race, just because I did accomplish something I didn't think I could do, I didn't know I could do. And it's just like that with my gym, just looking at where I was, looking at where I am, and where I want to go in the future, the greater vision of what I see the community of the Sisterhood of Sweat being for all women out there, a place of support, feedback where they feel heard and seen. And we're all collaborating together, building each other up. I want it to be a place where women can come and work on themselves, because they're always working on everybody else, helping everybody else. I want it to be that place where they can just come and work on themselves without judgment, without fear, with support. So that was my New Year's, my big dreams, setting your goals, having vision, and having faith. Because also too, I think when you fail, you learn. So each step you take takes you to the next and the next and the next. And before you know it, you're living big dreams. Let's go after the big dreams, guys. Set your heart on what you want. Thanks, everybody.